would you say like half of America doesn't believe in themselves? What would you
More.
think? Would you think more than half the people?
More,
You
I
would think
think.
that more than half of
Why?
the people
So-
in this world don't believe in themselves. Good question.
Think about how many people hate their life.
Probably more than half the world, right? Yeah.
How many people
Half
do you
the-
know? Oh, I got 10 more minutes. Can't wait to clock out. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many people do you know live that life?
Yes.
But think about it. It's rampant, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, that's why they're there. They hate it because they don't think they can do more.
Yeah.
They don't think they could do better. They don't love themselves or believe in themselves enough to make that jump, you know? Welcome to the Beltran Podcast. And the guest we have here today, guys, is really what this is all about. I'd like to introduce to you guys a pillar of the community, if I may, an amazing artist, entrepreneur that I've just watched him grow, Mr. Pete Kota with Koza Metal Art.
Pete Koza Metal Art. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Al. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you and Brad having me here today and taking time out of your day. So,
Oh, for sure. I mean, but this is what it's about, man. You know, like we all go through a lot, you know, doing the things that we do, and I think it's nice to share, you know?
Yeah.
Like share a little bit about ourselves, share a little bit about the journey, because there's a lot of people that are where you were 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's in business for yourself, in a job, thinking about it, you know, so I think this is very important. So really appreciate you being here for this.
Yeah, thank you. That does mean a lot, too.
Yeah.
I don't take that lightly.
Yeah, man. So you know, really how I like to start it out, and it helps me out. You know, I don't spend a lot of time just hanging out with people.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like an opportunity I have to where we could just kind of chat, and I get to know Mr. Pete,
Mm-hmm.
but from back in the day. I wanna kind of get into your childhood, man.
Damn.
You know?
Yeah. Well, my childhood, right off the bat, art.
Yeah.
Art was what I was good at. I might not have got good grades at a lot of other subjects, but art, I always stood out at art. So here I am today making art. Go figure. A lot of my good friends that know me always do this. They always say, man, I can remember Pete would be sitting in class. He'd be doodling all over his folders. We wouldn't even, we would take a test. People would be like, so art in school as a kid, man.
Oh,
that
dude,
was, that was it. Sports too. I loved playing sports. I always excelled at sports when I was younger.
Okay, what'd you play?
Man, I played baseball a lot when I was younger.
Okay.
Played flag football more than I played tackle football.
Okay.
But the main thing is that was where I found a lot of happiness as a kid, growing up and things like that. School obviously wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And my kids, they do good at school, thank God, so.
Yeah, I think it's, getting good grades. Some kids are just, I don't want to say they're born with it because it takes a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
But I think the school system is more catered for a certain type of brain,
Yeah.
Like for you, the way your brain worked,
Mhm.
I mean, you wanted to be creating.
Yes.
You didn't want to be in a box. You didn't want to say, hey, this is how you do it. You got to do it like this. And then if you don't do it exactly like this, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I like going back. So you already knew you were a creator.
Yeah. And as a kid, I always remember watching my mom draw a lot. She was always drawing. As years went on, I guess that memory had faded away. And I didn't do art for 20-something years of my life.
Oh,
But
wow.
Coming back to, it wasn't like, so when I got out of school, I started doing art things. No.
Okay.
I was a pool guy, lawn service. I was a cook. I've worked as a chef in restaurants. I've done so many different things. But art came back to me in a way. There was a lot of influential people along the way that made that happen. But I always knew that I could create and fabricate, and it always got affirmation. It always got a good response. So coming back to that later in life, art, it wasn't part of my childhood, even though it was part of my childhood. Went away from all that as life went on, so.
Oh, so
Yeah.
so it was in your mind, it was in your heart.
Yeah.
Then you got into the workforce.
Of course.
So getting into the workforce, like what kind of jobs? You said you were a pool guy.
I was a pool guy for a good 15 years or more,
Really?
doing 100 pools a week, whether it was local or down south.
Was
Yeah.
it your business or you worked for somebody?
Nope, and that's a good question. It was not my business, but growing up in that stage of doing pools, I would come home in the evening and make art in my garage.
Okay.
Because, you know, you do pool service. If you hustle and if you're consistent, you're done 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, especially if you do your job right. So
Yeah.
I always had the late afternoons, even before the kids got home from school, to go out and do, you know, stuff in the garage making art. And on the weekends, I would go sell it.
Okay.
So that's kind of, if I started doing that on the weekends, that was great. Because if not, I was working in the restaurant business after doing pool service or delivering pizza, whatever it took to, you know, support the family and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, pool service was really good. I mean, it was good for your skin color. It was good for your health.
Yeah.
You know, but it is hard work, but it was real. It was, you know.
It's funny. I had a buddy of mine who has a pool service.
Yeah.
And he just partnered with another guy that this is a millionaire pool guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He started off just doing pools, working for somebody. Now he's buying and selling huge businesses, taking businesses under his belt. I mean, this is like, you think, you know, pool service. How big could it be? This guy learned how to take it to the next level. You know, so I guess there's a lot in that.
And I guess back to what caused the conversation about the pools and the art together, I had this pivotal stage where I had the opportunity to own my own pool business and go that direction because Port St. Lucie was booming. I had 100 customers that I already had consistent working for somebody, and I wasn't taking his customers, but I knew I can do that line of work and have a good reputation in that industry and grow amongst the best pool guys in town. But the art thing was starting to do good, so I kept saying, what do I do? What do I do? Should I start my own pool business? And what you just said brought this back, the entrepreneurship and doing multiple businesses. But right now, in the direction I went at the time was really put my time and energy into the art. Go that direction and be unique and do something different because I knew I could do art and do that. So I went away from the direction of owning my own pool business, but it was a pivotal stage where, because it's so lucrative in the pool business, especially in our town, it's just growing in Port St. Lucie.
But how much do you love it, though? You know, it's like...
I mean, I had passion for, I guess I have passion for whatever job I do, you know.
That's
so,
good. That says a lot, man.
But with that said, yeah, you do get burned out on it, you know. So let me just adjust that there. So I think ultimately that was the biggest point was there was stages where I missed doing, you know, that energy of being outside in the sun and working and going to different places. I saw you say in another podcast you did talking about how you like to be out amongst people, doing things, seeing people and stuff. So, but this art world gave me that opportunity to do that now, going to shows and different things, clients' houses, all these different things. You get to interact, you know, and meet a lot, way more than the pool service, obviously. But it just felt good to always just be out, going.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. I was on roofs this morning. I was on a few roofs this morning. that was pretty cool. But
one of my first customers ever, Richie.
Yes.
When I first went out to the first art show 11 years ago, and I set up, he literally was one of the first people to walk up and buy something from me.
Really?
On like the first day ever, 11 years ago.
Oh, wow. I had no clue.
And look at him now, boy. He's hustling. How inspirational that guy is.
He's in Vegas right now.
I saw that. He's doing an amazing thing. I'm like, man. So it's cool to know him. And obviously, you saw I just made their logo recently.
That was sick,
yeah, that was really cool.
Yes,
so, yeah, cool things like that. So
yeah, I got to go get a picture of it, man. I got to go put it up. Hell yeah, man. So when you were doing the pools, like, did you just say, you know what, forget about it, I quit, I'm gonna sell art? Or was it like, did you start selling and slowly make your way? What was the point?
Great question, because so if I did 100 pools a week, which was somewhere around 20 to 25 a day, after a little while, as I started doing better in the arts on the weekends and getting custom orders and things like that, I talked to the owner of the company, and I went down to 4 days, and then I went down to 3 days.
Smart.
And so within like a year of knowing this was coming, I completely was, you know, down to that where I was just do the Monday route right here in South Bend for him. It was 30 pools, get them done for him.
Strategic.
And then it was finally like, man, I need the extra time at the art to be able to do. And now I still don't have enough time. It's, you know, it's crazy. But, I mean, that's been a good 6-7 years since I've done pools where I've done nothing but art. Only, no other jobs.
So that's I like that, you know, because there's right now you have a lot of influencers and a lot of entrepreneurs that say, "Oh, take the leap, just do it, just do it." But I mean, there comes a point in this. Not only you, I had Georgette on last week, and I asked her, if you had any advice, and she was like, "Be smart about it. You have to also take into account where you are in life. You have kids, and you don't just quit. I got $40 in the bank. I'm out. You got to plan for this stuff."
Yes, and that's very important because there's so many nuances that come every single day along the way that change everything and what you're planning. And yeah, you're right about that for sure.
Yeah. So this type of art, dude, when did you there's art is beautiful. There's so many different mediums. Was there one person that you saw doing that? Because the kind of art that you do, I mean, it's not just like you don't go to school and learn it. It's not normal,
Yeah.
Who inspired you to go that route?
Well, there's many different answers to that question, but in the early days of doing some metal fabrication with another guy, we did some things together 20-something years ago. Ironically, I was his pool guy, how it started. And he had a cool creation in his head. It's a really cool story. And, we're not friends to this day anymore, but he was one of the most instrumental guys in my life. But I was his pool guy. And he came outside and said, "I've never had a pool guy that I've ever come outside and talked to. My wife always comes in the house and says, 'Man, that guy works on our pool super, super hard.' He's like, 'I make cool, metal craft things in my garage.' He's like, 'Man, I would love to take what skills you have and your integrity, how hard you work, and come do this with me.' And so he had showed me the way of texturing metal and doing different cool things. And in the early days, we would sell them on eBay and do different things like that. And we would just try to reproduce it. And he's gone on to big, amazing things. And I'm grateful that I was a part of the beginning of that. But there was a point in time where, being back in the pool business many years later, I always knew that it's evolved into something different for me. It was such a different type of format that I do now, even though it was on the same medium. The amazing part was that it planted a seed of opportunity for me, and then taking my hard work and my passion into something for me turned into what I do now. And the inspiration behind it is all the people have ever come up to me and said, "Hey, can you make a mermaid? Can you make it that fish, whatever it is?" That wasn't thought of when I first started doing that. It just kind of has evolved. Backsplashes, the custom logos, all those type of things.
Yeah.
So what was an inspiration that taught me the craft of was instrumental, but it isn't what the where it is now. It's not. I wouldn't even know how to because my mind starts going in so many different directions now, thinking about so many things.
But I get it. It's you have to be brave. Things get presented. There's so many people that, no, this is what I do and this is how I do it. Nope, not gonna do it. And if you would have been that kind of person from the beginning, I mean, because what you do, it's that beautiful custom. You're doing logos for people, and people come up with something. Hey, I want this as a backsplash on my house.
That's amazing. When people asked me when I started doing it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is like the craziest thing."
But you did it. You could have easily said, "No, no, that's not what I do." This is what I do. Trinkets. This is what So it takes so much courage, and it's so beautiful. What's on the other side of that courage?
And and the real part of that beauty is you have to believe it. Everybody can tell you how amazing it is, but until you believe it yourself, you'll never reciprocate what really can become of it. Yeah. And I'm learning that every day because, again, like I started with, somebody wants me to put my art in their kitchen. Who would do such a thing? And
were you nervous?
Of course. And I'm sure I messed it up. I buried the sockets in the metal. I was just learning. I mean, I've come 10 years of doing backsplashes now. And it's so funny. I can still remember the first backsplash. And Nick, he just walked up to me the other day. He's on the cover of my portfolio book. But he just walked up the other day and said, "It still looks like the day you installed it.
Wow.
It's beautiful." And we still get compliments on it. And I'm like, wow, that stands the test of time right there. That's part of the journey of confidence and enjoying the beauty of it. I think that's an important part to remember.
Yeah, man, I couldn't imagine if somebody was gonna pay me good money to put something that everybody's gonna see, and it was my first time. Be like, can I get a practice go or something? You just went for it,
Yeah.
dude.
I want to say I think I probably did mess up like maybe the second or the third one really bad. Like when you cut the sockets, and then you go and you texture it, and then when you go to install it, I think I did it flipped the
Oh
other
yeah.
way, and I got there, and the customer, he was like crafty and a construction guy. And so he sawed out the wall, moved his socket all the way over to fit. So, and I
Oh,
was
how
like, man, I
cool.
thought I destroyed this guy's wall, right? So
Yeah.
it happened, but now it's like repetition, just like
Yeah.
everything we're doing. But still, to even think that it's all manifestation. I'm literally manifesting sitting here right now with you. I've manifested having the opportunity to grow that business, and it's happening. And the logos, and it's just
I know. It's
it's
so cool.
amazing. So I'm past that nervous side of it, but it's more learning to embrace what's could happen, with
Yeah.
these opportunities.
Yeah, that's we were talking about it earlier. It's awareness. These opportunities. I believe that everybody has opportunities that show up, right? But if you don't work on your awareness and understand what's going on in your mind, what's going on around you, and have that openness and have the courage to take risks, like I think everybody has these opportunities to come around them, but you have to hone yourself
Yeah,
to accept them, to notice them, to be brave enough to like get a little hint of something, say, hey, you know what, this makes me feel good, and then envision and manifest. It's like this is I could see where this could take me, and it was one little tiny instance in your life that put a spark in you,
yeah,
and you just kept on feeding it, feeding it, feeding it because you noticed it. So
that is
many people
amazing.
notice things for a minute, but then they forget, and dude, that could have been the one thing, you
Literally,
know.
and I knew I was just gonna go for it, and I pretty much I sacrificed it all. Even till this day with everything, it just you sacrifice every moment to make something happen. And a lot of people say, "Oh, you've made it. Oh, you've made." To me, I haven't made anything yet. There's still, to me, I'm trying to manifest. Like you saw what was going on this weekend in Miami, Art
Yes,
Basel, right?
yes.
My art's amazing here, and it's been reciprocated, and I've had amazing people support me and give me opportunity and believe in me. But when am I going to be part of something like that, to another journey, in
Let's
another
do it.
journey, another level?
I mean, let's do it next year.
I've been saying it all week.
My
As
buddy's got brewery down there, man.
I wake up every morning, along with praying all those good things, I'm telling myself every day out loud, next year you will be in Art Basel. You,
Yes.
one way or the other, whether if it's in the big section or it doesn't matter. I'm gonna be part of it because 11 years of consistency and hard work. You
Yes.
can go another 11 years of consistency and hard work, or you can start to reap those benefits of things you've already pushed hard to make happen. And again, it's all just believing it in yourself.
That's it,
And this is
man.
what I'm going for. And being here is part of believing in myself and the journey. And that's why, like right now, I don't go live on TikTok.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of videos on TikTok, and I have
Yeah.
700,000 followers. We've had videos that get 14 million views, 7 million views, things like
Yeah.
that. But I never go live. And I went live, and I looked over a couple times, and there was a couple hundred people watching.
Oh, how
And
cool,
then right
dude.
now, there's only 3 people watching. But you know what? Those 3 people, we appreciate
Yes.
you because we're on the podcast with Al Beltran. And
Yes.
if you guys see, this is something unique and different for me, and I haven't really paid attention to you guys, but at
Yeah.
least I did want to bring that up that,
Yeah. But the whole thing is you tried it. You're like, you know what?
let's
And
do
then you
it.
did it. I love
Well,
it.
and if by chance you could even post something like this for people to even know the journey
Yeah.
that of me even to be sitting here doing a podcast, I may as well share stuff like that. And I should tell the story about the art and the things that I have coming up more live and things like this on
Yeah.
YouTube and
Me too. I need
Instagram.
to go live more.
It's a real thing. I mean, I think that's where people make a lot of money. I would
Yeah.
assume that's what I've heard, but so,
Yeah, that's a new thing I've seen that they do on TikTok, and I want to kind of get into social media and like how it's changing the world. But people go on there and they'll do auctions and stuff now. I know this girl that buys little figurines, and she like opens them up. People watch her open them up,
Yeah.
and then they're like, little, can you pay this much for it? Like, I still don't, I can't grasp that. Like, why wouldn't they go to the store and do it? But I mean, she'll buy something for $12 and sell it for $300.
That is amazing.
I don't understand how it works, man. But it's,
You know how it works, and I keep saying it, and this is what I tell my kids: consistency.
Yeah.
You can be a gimmick, or you can be consistent. If you're consistent, you can take that gimmick and turn it into something. But it's
Yeah.
consistency. I tell my kids
it makes
every
it
day,
real, I guess.
don't worry about how hard you have to push, and just stay consistent. That's the only thing that really validates what I do, besides the inspirational stories. But consistency, like doing it and believing in it and doing it. So that lady who sells those figurines, what you said, opens it up, she believes it. She's
so much,
and if she stays
dude.
consistent, she's gonna make a lot of money at it.
And I got so much respect for that, and once again, that's that courage, man. That goes so far. And we're actually just talking about kids, and social media. And this is kind of a little bit of a tangent, but I wanna know where your head is at with this. And like, let's look at society in 20 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the reason I'm saying 20 years from now, think about kids that are being born today and how much of a part of everyone's life this is
already.
Like, you have some people that fight it, are negative about it. In my opinion, and I want to know where you think with the children, you could either tell them, get off your phone, or you could teach them how to use this tool and take their life to the next level.
Yeah. And that's funny you say that, because actually my kids, my two older kids, teach me to use that as a tool to get to the next level. And so when I think about, where my head is at with that, I don't turn them away from it. I know there's too much time. If anything, they tell me I spend too much time on it, so I think it's a good level stage with that. But yeah, and in the future, it's probably going to be like bloop, a screen that pops up or something.
Man.
It's not even going to be a phone. Our kids are going to laugh at them and go, you guys had phones in your hand? Like, who does that? Like how we used to have pagers and stuff, So, could you imagine? So 20 years from now, but no. When people do say, when I tell them I'm on TikTok or Instagram and they go, I don't do that kind of stuff, it's not a good, and I get it. There is a bad side to it. There is a rabbit hole side of it. There's all those things. There's too much time spent on it. But I have seen so many amazing, influential things, especially on TikTok. If the algorithm picks up that you're into those type of things, the inspirational stories and the amazing things, there are so many people doing amazing things in this world because of the phones and the social media. It's giving people who can't get a regular job, whatever, it doesn't even matter, or could and don't, whatever it is, that is such a tool. Obviously, you don't want to sit around on it all day. Obviously, that makes sense. But to me, it's given me the opportunity to share what I've done. And it was funny because the other day, because I do take a lot of pictures of my kids, because they're getting older. And I'm like, so... and my son goes, Dad, dude, stop. And then Madison, my daughter, she says, you know what? I like that you do that, Dad. It's okay. You know why? Because I like to be able to know that I could look back on that someday. And she was over my apartment the other day, and she was looking through, like, I have all the stack of all the pictures and stuff. She was looking through it. And the spark, you just saw her mind get lost in, like, memory lane and lost a sense of that 5 minutes of reality to go, she did have these moments in life. And that was a good feeling. But so to me, that tool is always going to be there for the opportunity to see what's happened. Like this. This could be ingrained for a lifetime. It doesn't matter 80 years from now that we like, look at Grandpa, or whatever, So I don't know.
No, but it is. And I think I look at it like I look at a lot of things, it's the yin and the yang. Everything has the top side and the bottom side. You can't be cold without knowing what hot is.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of, that's just, I have a lot of tolerance for things because I could always look at it like that. So that's kind of how I see it. I was like, yes, of course, could be a lot of horrible things. And in my opinion, one of the things that I think could be on the bad side of it, and I would love to, see some people kind of work on that, is the human interaction part of it. You know? So I don't know. That's the one thing I do see that could be a little funny. Like how us being in front of each other right now, you know, we're picking up on signs, on cues, like
Yeah.
facial cues.
Yeah.
Even pheromones and those kinds of things, you know.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I'd like to see. I don't know. I'd like to see something that will throw a wrench in losing this human connection. You
Yeah,
know?
without a doubt. But I think, I mean, could you say that you're actually getting? Oh, okay. So actual in-person connection.
Yes.
But so the way I was thinking, but could that lead you to more human interaction?
There you go.
See what I'm
Good.
saying? So like
Yes.
that gives you connections. Like, yes, I've seen you out a few times.
Yeah.
We've been around, but we know each other more through social media and people's conversations about each other. But our conversations back and forth to make this work out brought us into this human
Great
connection.
Great
So,
point. I
I
love
mean,
it. That's why I bring these things up, because I always like to see all the different angles of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like on my way here, I got a call. This guy never heard his name, didn't recognize him. He's like, "Hey, Al." He's like, "I'm just in town for a couple days. You know, the guy that's staying at my house, he said he's starting to see a couple leaks in the back flat area. It looks like I'm missing some shingles." I'm like, "Cool. All right. What's your address?" It's like, "By the way, like, how'd you get my number?" You know?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Oh, yeah. Sorry, man. I should have told you." It's like a neighbor down the road says that she sees you on social media and it seems like you're a good guy.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I looked you up, and this is your number, because my number's everywhere. I put my phone on the back of my truck. My phone number's everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's how it happened.
Yeah.
So, yes, there is, you're right.
Yeah.
I would not have had, I'm going to go meet with him today after we're done here. You know, Mikey Schmidt?
Yeah.
He's-
Dude, I just met him recently. He's an amazing guy.
He's
and,
on here
yeah.
after you today.
Yeah, is he really?
Yeah, he's coming.
I'm warming
Yeah.
up for him. So
Yeah.
he's so cool. He just bought the Biggie and Tupac piece of art I had, and he was just like
yes.
infatuated with it. And he loved it, and he's such a supporter. You could tell like people are genuine good people. Like they'll look you in the eye
is.
and they'll give you affirmation, but you could just sense, like you said, those.
Dude, I got goosebumps thinking about that.
And he's
Dude,
one of those guys. Like as soon as
Yeah.
you meet him, you're like, dude, that dude's badass, and he's got big things coming. And
what are the chances of that? This is crazy how the world works. Like, so he just bought a piece from you,
And
completely random, that I got you on and him on the same day. You know?
He bought that piece spontaneously. I had that Biggie and Tupac piece in my shop for a couple years now. I didn't try to sell it because when I
Yeah.
made it, the video went viral. It was badass of me making it, but I kept it.
Yeah.
And then the guy, Mike, who works next door with 7 Graphics, he's over there. Mikey's over there doing stuff with him. Mike brings him over to show him my shop. He walks in and he's like, "Oh, I have to have that piece." He's like,
Yeah.
"That's mine." He's like, "That's my man's right there." Those guys. He's like, and that was it. And then we've become friends since. And he supports me, and he's trying to get me to go to networking thing
Yeah.
on Thursday nights or something like
Okay.
that. So
yeah, he does a lot of them, man.
but so this is where my brain needs to start going, is interacting with people like you, Mikey, a lot of other
Yes.
people along the way that we, even Todd and Lori, that
I love them so much.
with the
dude.
gallery at the real
Yeah.
estate office and stuff. And I mean, those are big opportunities. Right now, I just look at them as they're just seeds planted,
Yes.
as that's a great connection and great friends to have, being a part of what they have going on, even if it's just in a small piece of what they have going on. You never know when it's going to
Dude.
just be the next biggest thing in the world. You never know.
I
So,
love that we're going there, because this comes up every time.
Yeah.
We're all one relationship away of changing our whole life.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, like every single person that you're around and speak to, I mean, it changes things in you.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yes, it does.
The
For
opportunities,
everything.
your
Relationships,
mindset, like
everything.
just the fact that, look at this, like we're not, everybody who's been on the show, we're not all friends. We don't go hang out and have beers together, but there's such a connection between everybody that comes on here, and that's just showing me that, people, where if your head's in a certain space and you know where you want to be in life, and you're making moves here in this community, we're all kind of aligning. You know what I mean? It's
so
just
much.
kinda,
I see it happening in literally like that connection of people that intertwine, whether it's Fort Pierce or Port St. Lucie. There's like literally,
even Stewart.
here you are, you're right by my studio, but I know
Yeah.
you as like, most conversations that I've had about you with people when they say, oh, Al, things like that.
Yeah.
Is out of Fort Pierce,
Yeah.
But here we are, a block away
Port
from
St.
each other.
Lucie.
It's
And
unreal.
then you came to my show in Stewart.
Yeah, I brought my mom and my
yeah.
daughter, and that was the coolest night. We had a good
Yeah.
time, and that was fun. And Mike was there, set up. And Mike, I've known for a lifetime since
Baez.
Mike
Oh,
Baez
yes.
with the Naturals. Literally, I can still remember when I moved to Port St. Lucie in 1991. I got on the bus. It was dark out because I had to go to Fort Pierce Central. I get off the bus, and I walked through the line, and all of a sudden there was this big dude in his football jersey. And I was, a freshman, but I wasn't like one of the bigger kids, and I was new. I was from living down south in Palm Beach Gardens. I come there, and I'm like, I still have the vision of like, and now it's like 30-something years later, we're good buddies. We stand next to each other. Like, it's like we're brothers,
awesome.
and it's so cool to know him for so long. And then he's always talking about you so highly, so, and that's important,
cool, man.
Because for me, it's like social media, you can create, obviously, the persona you want people to think of you about, and that's fine. You don't have to post anything negative that goes on in your personal life, business, or your kids and things like that. And you can create what people see of you and think of you.
Mm-hmm.
But what I like the best is when people conversate about you or something. That's how I judge who's a good person. I could see you on social media and go, yeah, he looks like a great person. Same thing with me.
Yeah.
But if you meet me in person, that's your judgment. You figure it out from there. But when people say, hey, we talk about Al, they tell me nothing but great things about you, that puts me more in a sense of that's who you truly are than just what we can create on social media. So that's very important. And people like Mike and things like that, it's just,
man,
amazing things. And I know we're all tight-knit in this community.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to intertwine with so many things coming up in the years to come. I mean, this is just I wouldn't mind coming back and do this again. There's probably so many things we could talk. I can go on for days about stuff if you haven't figured that out.
This is like our intro, and I can see a lot of the people want to come back, So anytime the first time I have you, I'm just learning about you, and you're coming up, and where your head's at with a lot of stuff. But there's so many things happening in society that I would love to kind of dig open. This is the way my brain works. I like to see how other people see things. Like the other thing I think about a lot of, and once again, it's gonna you have the yin and the yang, right?
Mm-hmm.
So many people are, I want to talk about AI, artificial intelligence. You have, I see both sides. I'm Libra. It's just the way, it's just the way I am,
Yeah.
Some people are like, it's going to take everybody's jobs. It's the worst thing that's ever happened. Computers are going to take over the world,
Yeah.
And then you have, the people are saying this is the absolute best thing ever. Nothing bad is going to happen, So
you got to evolve with it. Yeah.
I see both, I could see where if you let it, the only way I think I could see it, be negative in the workforce in the workforce and business is if you don't learn it, if you don't learn how to use it. I mean, I use it daily now.
Yeah.
So in what you do you use it at all? I can't imagine how, and how do you see it affecting what you do in the future?
I mean, that's a great question because as things go into this future, social media, digital way, I even noticed art is going digital. Like that's a huge factor.
Yes.
I do think though there is a influx of people who are becoming artists now, using their hands and things. I feel like there's a growth of that. I mean, just go on Instagram Reels. I mean, just watch, and there's so many people making amazing art. So even though things are going in that direction in art, I think were they selling like NFTs or something like art? And I was like, this is just so far beyond. I'm just learning how to use a computer. They're already that far. So I think that's important. But there is, I think, art. I don't know if it.
Why do you think? I have an idea of why I think it is. Why more people?
I thought you were about to tell.
No. But why do you think?
Why do I think
that there's more and more people, getting into art, using their hands?
Oh, so basically, think about when COVID started. Everybody was out of work and things like that. What was the best thing people were doing? They were home, being crafty, being creative, figuring out things, different ways to make money, especially on social media. And now you go on TikTok and they got the TikTok shops and people selling. So I think more people are finding like we've been talking about, an avenue
Yeah.
to be able to stay in that creative format, and more people are able to do it. And whether it's art, I don't know, art I think has just become more acceptable amongst people in a sense of, if you're doing that for a living, that's cool and creative, compared to maybe in the old days only someone like Bob Ross or the Highwaymen would do something like that. Maybe street people, I don't know, like,
Yeah, that's why
less
I
fortunate people, street people type
I
thing.
think with the social media, seeing people out there doing it,
Bingo.
and they're like, you know what? I used to do that when I was a kid, and they see people
Yes.
making it like
Yes.
yourself. What you're doing, what you do,
Yes.
man. You are inspiring these people that have that fire in them, that have that creative bug, that know that they have it in their heart to do this stuff. You're giving them courage to make the leap and get it out there and put it in front of people. That's one of the things I think, one of the huge positive things about social media
Perfect answer.
people are they're gaining more courage to follow their passions a lot more.
Because you're seeing other people just like you
Yes.
doing it. And if he can do it, why can't I?
Yes,
and
man.
that's a no-brainer. And maybe it's always been like that, but yes, people didn't see it. Now
Yes.
you're seeing it. So, and it becomes more acceptable,
Yep.
more, it gives you that fire lit. It gives you that challenge of going, oh, well, I'm going to get something, and I'm going to do something creative. And again, I think everybody can do. It's just consistency.
Yeah.
So if you're going to, I always tell people that talk about young people, again, they want to be artists. They see what I do. They follow me. They watch, and I inspire them to be creative and stuff. But I'm like, it doesn't matter if you're good at it now or not. Consistency is the answer. It's bottom line, and it just
to like everything.
Obviously. So
You're
and
so
obviously,
right.
I cast it in a way of art. Just
Yeah.
staying consistent, just doing it over. And for many years, like people always say, "Oh man, you don't sell your art for enough money. You're too inexpensive and stuff." And I get all that, and things have gotten really expensive for me now. With the cost and the overhead of everything. So prices have gone up and do have to go up, without getting too far into that. But in the early days of doing it really affordably, it gave me the opportunity to not only have something that was cool and unique, but it was affordable to our local community with a lot of young families getting houses and different things like that. But it gave me the opportunity to have consistency, because every day I had to go to the shop and make 5 more mermaid metal art, 5 more palm tree metal art, because even if I sold them, but I was selling them and they were moving and I was getting the opportunity. And I always tell people who want to be an artist, who start, you don't have to try to go for the most amount of money in the beginning. Give yourself the opportunity to get better at it. Get that piece out there for an affordable price, but then you're going to do it over and over again. Some artists might make a lot of money. They wait for a piece to sell. For me, I knew I want to be better at the craft than just win at the craft. I wanted to just get better at it.
That's strong.
And I'm still trying to get better at it. I still look at my art and go, what's going to help that look more realistic? And if that's even the answer, I don't even know if I want to try to look more realistic or just stay what Pete Koza's art looks like. It's my impression, so but my brain is always trying to find a way to give it that perspective of when somebody else looks at it, more in realism.
You know what that shows me, and I think this is a powerful trait. Sometimes you have to be able to put your ego aside.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And you can't,
because I feel like I do.
You can't progress. You do it, and you can't really progress without getting better. And so many people are like, "I'm the best. This is it."
You'll never hear me ever say that.
And
maybe I should say it sometime in my life, but
here's the thing. You got confidence is very important, but when it comes to getting better at your craft and knowing that there's always going to be somebody else out there trying to do what you do, and the only way that you could, you want to believe that you're working to be the best. You're on the journey, but the only way is to keep on doing it. And by swallowing your pride a little bit and saying, hey, I just want to keep on pumping these out. And you know why? It's less about the money, more about getting better and getting better. And then now nobody else is doing what you do in this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's other guys out there doing it. They're doing good at it and
stuff.
Here. Yeah, and if I ever run into other metal artists, I always go, man, you're amazing.
Props.
You're doing great things.
Yeah.
You're not taking I have my piece of the pie. There's just like musicians. There's
smart.
But yes, I have been very lucky to have a unique opportunity, especially locally here and things like that, to be one of the only people that do it,
Yeah. Oh,
So,
yeah.
but there are other people that do it, and there's people who do it who are mega millionaires at being a metal artist,
Yeah.
and who are on cruise ships and movies and you name it,
But you know what's
art
going to
galleries.
happen, though? You're going to hit a point to where you've done thousands of more pieces than they have, and you're going to be better than them. And then you're going to be able to, you know what I mean? You're going to be at that position a
Yeah,
lot faster than just saying, hey, I want 30 grand for this, you know? But when the more you do, it's
track
going
record.
to be an easy ask once you get there, you know? And
Yeah,
so I don't know. I just see a bigger foundation the way you're doing it. And the beauty, that's the beauty of all of this, guys. We're grown up. We can do however the hell we want.
hey, literally,
You know?
literally, yeah. And I'm living that kind of life now that my kids are grown and I'm on my own doing my own thing and stuff. It's like you can go do how you want when you want. And I'm not just talking
Yes.
about personal things in life, but like the things that you've been manifesting in your head. There's no thing that gets in the way. I mean, not everything, like my daughter's at the doctor today. There's some
Yeah.
things that, were
Yeah.
hiccups in the road. So, but I can still literally, I wanted to do this. I'm here to do that,
Yes,
and it's
man.
like nothing changes that, unless it's something drastic, obviously. It's funny you said that though. I wanted to bring back a point that you were just talking about, how you said, what these other artists have created so there's two ways to really kind of create this business that I'm doing. Like, I can go in that avenue of being the unique artist where you make those pieces that you hand make everything. You sell them as they're all originals, one of a kinds, and you do a certain amount and you create that ambiance that it's a select special type thing. Or you can do what a lot of these other guys do, and they're doing great at it, and you can not give them nothing but props. But you create a production line, you create a team of people, and you create metal art products. And so that comes with capital, investing, funding, all those type of things.
Would you sell that to like big stores and they have like 20 of something on a shelf? Is that
Well,
what you're saying?
It's funny you say that, because why sell them in the stores when you can literally sell on
Yeah.
social media to death here? It's like you can, it's Amazon, eBay, Etsy. You can create all of that, but there's a way of creating metal art products, like when I do like the fish or the compasses and whatever on the cutout on a CNC machine. Those things can be masked. The flags, the American, those metal art American flags that I sell on my website. You can literally have a team of people where you have the production line, where you have those things being cut on your machine. It's still a Pete Kota metal art product, but it's a team of guys where are making them, packing them, shipping them, people who are marketing it, people who are doing all that, all those things, the photography, and bringing it all together, and the packing and the shipping, and you can create a product line, and that's what some of the most successful metal artists are doing.
Okay.
They're killing the game selling metal art products, where they have a team
Because they have the volume
of
you
people. Yes, where that's where the capital and the marketing and funding and all that comes into play. Where it's funny we bring that up because talking about a good friend of ours, Mitch,
Yes.
Fracker, he was very instrumental in the early days of my TikTok exploding, along with the marketing end of it, where it was put the money into the marketing and things like that, and it exploded. I started having website sales more than I could ever imagine, but I was really trying to do all that by myself. And then as custom work came along, I kind of went in that direction. Mitch blew up with what he was doing with his business and with the solar, right? He's just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But what a great inspirational young guy to come into my life like that and tell me those things. But the guys that do that online, they are killing the game. So there's like, do you do both? Or do you pick a direction and you go? It might create the opportunity where if I did products and had a team of people doing things in a business-oriented way, that gives me the opportunity to make that specialty piece.
The one-offs.
Pete Koza decided to come paint and make a piece, and
Yeah.
that's what it is. Or custom designs are still just my thing, because custom work is just, I can't even think straight. My phone's probably still getting custom orders, especially for Christmas. Things like that.
So what do you think? It seems like you're trying to make up your mind which way to go. Like,
I've been trying to make up my mind, and I think the hardest part is I've been trying to do both for so long.
Yeah.
But you really can't. I guess you can, but again, I think funding, marketing, advertising, having capital for all that.
Yeah.
finding maybe even as I've gotten to a certain point at 10 years now, like, that's why people do take their businesses on Shark Tank. And not that this is something to take on Shark, but investor-wise,
Yeah.
getting someone to come in that plays a pivotal role in the business side of it. Because, again, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
I wasn't business savvy. That's why I was an artist. So as this has grown into a business opportunity, you have to bring business people on board. And that was something that Mitch was really and my brother Chase, like they're young, strong minds that have these amazing qualities that can do those things. But everybody's busy doing their things, so you gotta figure it out yourself,
Yeah. When you scale, it does take it's almost impossible to do it yourself, and it takes a certain kind of, once again, courage to say, hey, can you sit here and make this, and I'm gonna put my name on it, so many things that you're used to doing everything. And I'm learning this right now, with the roofing business, and been working with a lot of big business owners in the process of scaling.
Right.
The hardest part is giving up something that you're really good at, and to have somebody else do that.
Very much
and
so.
be confident that they're going to do it as good as you were doing it. That's it's once again, that's a lot of courage, that's a lot of faith, but you got to have it.
Very important
to grow.
Very important. And then I always thought when I did this with somebody else, like in the early days, and I was on his pool patio figuring it out, what worked great for him is that he had a Pete Koza, and obviously he brought amazing things to to the table, which made it happen, all those things. But he had an opportunity to have someone in the very first stages of it that he can trust and help grow it and put his name on this product, and he can sleep at night or go on with his day knowing that he had somebody that was going to give all their heart and passion to it and give his business an opportunity to grow. But when I went on my own and did my own thing, my mindset was I give myself now my own best Pete Koza, and I'll work hard for myself instead of working hard for somebody else, with trust and integrity to build that business. And so now in hindsight, where's my Pete Koza? And I'm not using my name like I'm Pete Koza. I mean it as just like, I know that I put my heart and soul, everything into making sure that that person's reputation in business, he didn't have to worry. I did what was, I can sign that name, knowing, and he can know that that was a product that he would validate as his product. So, and to do that for myself, but now as things have scaled, I need a Pete Koza. And I have a great helper. He's been with me for many years. He works a full-time job. James, he's been with me for so many years. And he comes in at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon after working his whole day job, and comes in every night and helps me with the CNC machine and products for maybe 6-7 years now. So, it's not that I do it all by myself.
Yeah.
And he's someone that I can walk out. Like last night I went to go watch the Miami Dolphins game, so
nice.
But I was able to leave him at the shop knowing that my approval was he was going to take care of things.
Dude, how many pieces you putting out a week if you had?
So I try to make 20 to 30 pieces a week.
Holy
but there was a time, because there was small products.
Yeah.
So when things were simpler for him, it would be, I was just going to festivals or art shows to sell my art. Yep. So my idea was I would make 15 smaller pieces, then I'd make 10 of the medium pieces and 5 of those bigger pieces, right? So I do that, and I did that consistently for years, but then custom work started to come into play, and then online started to play. So there was sometimes 2 Christmases ago when TikTok exploded, I had 240 website sales in hours, like days and weeks. And what happened was I had to make like 40 pieces of art a week. And then I was getting help from friends and things like that to help me pack them. But you can't just pack my art and throw them in a box and go. Yeah. I was like very meticulous about making really structured boxes to make all. But so there was a point in time where I might have been making 50 to 60 pieces of art a week. So
holy
craziness.
cow.
But then, but like right now, I'm working on like 2 custom orders a week. I'm making like 10 pieces for the show, but I'm also doing different things now.
What do you prefer?
Ooh. The other day I said to myself, and I don't want to manifest this because I love this journey that I'm on, and I don't want to put my brain in that thought. But I did say to myself, I miss the days where I just take a piece of metal and go outside and just make a piece of art and just enjoy it. And whatever it was going to be, it was going to be. And I took my time and did it. Like, I'm going down the list of like all the things on my agenda. And the last thing I wanted it to do was feel like an obligation.
Yeah.
And so when people ask me, do you want a deposit? It's a funny question, but I don't take deposits on big jobs like kitchens and stuff. And of course I do. That's a business job. But you walk up to me at an art show and you have me make something custom for you. It's going to be $200, $300, $400, whatever it is, $50. It doesn't matter. You go, oh, you want a deposit? So I don't take a deposit. I literally just want to make that piece of art. And when I'm done making that piece of art, if you like it, then you pay me for it.
Wow.
If you don't, I'll sell it. I'll put it on my table, whatever. So that was like my mindset, was because I felt like I don't want to lose that love of just making the art. So it's a weird thing, but like people always say, oh, that's not good business to not take deposits. And I've never been burned by one person in all these years. If anything, people give me more at the end because they're like, wow, you exceeded our expectations. But so to me, it was, if I have deposits and a lot of it became an obligation and a job and not a burden, but then the thought of, well, what if they don't like it? You don't want to be feeling that while you're making the art. You want to just be like, this is what it is. This is what I do.
Wow, yeah.
How it comes out. I don't have your money. And nowadays, when people are waiting 2, 3 months, 4, 5 months for, some people are waiting a long time for art. But so, with that said, to have that opportunity, but no obligation to anything.
Yeah.
And again, as business grows, of course you got to start taking deposits because it's turning into a business and you have to get supplies, and supplies are expensive. There's all those costs that, where I fronted all that to do it,
Yeah.
Where now as business grows, I'm learning to be more business oriented. I have to. Otherwise it's just, you can keep winging it as long as you can, but you can't do that forever,
Yeah.
But it is a very important factor for sure.
I remember I love fishing, and I became a commercial fisherman.
Locally?
Yes.
Wait,
dude.
many years ago?
Yeah, it was probably, I remember my son it was probably about 12 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I got a fishing boat, got my restricted species license. I went out there and I was a king fisherman because I love fishing.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it took the fun out of fishing for me. Dude, I like fishing now again, but I did it for about a year. Like that pressure, man. You go out there.
It's a real thing. Yeah.
Jesus. I thought I would love it. Oh, yeah, I get to be out on the water all day, go fishing. Dude, not for me, man. So yeah, I think, you got to love it enough. And what you're doing, you got to strategically do it. You got to make sure you keep your head where it's at. For me, where my head was at, I was like, not fishing for money. Like that was a tough go for me, man.
So
I wasn't that good. That was the issue.
So when people talk about athletes, oh, I don't think it. I mean, does it change for them too? Maybe grew up being the best running back or the best basketball player in life, trying to achieve making it. But then, I mean, I don't know.
Well, some of them, that's why some, retire early. I think what happens for a lot of athletes, they get into that lifestyle. They don't have a lot of financial training, and you're used to making a certain amount of money, and then you're in there and you're like, man, I got to play another year. So some people do get stuck in it. Some people love the game,
for sure.
I think you get both. I can see both in there.
And it's funny, I think like you can see it. You can see it on players and stuff like that. Like
that they're just going for their paycheck, bad attitude, just showing up. Then you got the people out there loving their life every moment.
Yeah, but along the lines, it was like, trying not to lose the love for whatever you put consistency into, like just like literally it just
that's a tough thing to balance, really. And you think about it, I mean, at what point do you love it enough to be okay having to do it? Like for me, I like variety in my life, like I love putting on shows. I really, really enjoy it.
You exude that. I see that.
Dude, it's a lot of fun. I get a lot of joy from watching people in that state of mind, just, losing. Life is tough, and it's really nice to be able to give somebody a reprieve, give somebody somewhere where they could just concentrate on a nice show and be with friends and chatting and,
Interesting. Yeah.
I really, that drives me a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I feel that too, especially at art shows. People always walk up and have some type of inspirational story, whether my brain is capable of absorbing what they're saying at the
Yeah.
time. Somewhere along the lines, I know it happens, but when people walk up, whether they start tearing up, telling me a story of what my art helped them through such and such, people with fires, death, divorces, all these different
Yes.
things, reactions to what it meant when they gave my art to their dad or when they gave it to their kid, all these different things. And a common thing is it took them away from that moment of what could have been bothering them or
Yeah.
is going on in their life. The art helped them react to something. But I get to reciprocate that. Your people get to, when they feed that to me at the shows and they tell me all these amazing stories. Again, I don't even know if I absorb it all. I know it's there. I've heard so many things, but I know it's impactful in people's lives like that.
Yeah, those kinds of feelings, I mean, that's what feed me, that's what fuel my soul. I guess emotions are a funny thing, and what emotions are real, what feelings are real, is how we perceive things. But I will say that emotions and feelings, I mean, they're powerful. I watch a lot of these, a lot of scientists, a lot of psychiatrists, and I'm intrigued by the brain, and a lot of times they talk about how feelings are just what you're attaching to something. Feelings are how you look at something because of something that happened before in your life. So it's hard to control them. It's really hard to control them, but it's something that's so powerful. So powerful.
And with you saying that, it's like a TikTok, like you dig into like listening to people talk about those things.
Oh, yeah.
They're life-changing events and people with the mind and all those.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so big into it.
It truly is. There's some really inspirational things.
Yeah. So, in your life, we talked about the guy that you worked for. You talk about Mitch. Any other people in your life that were just like, one of those people that changed the trajectory of your life?
Good question. Let me actually like think about that for a split second, because
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to just ramble off a name or two of. There have been, I could go down a list of names of some great people, but something. Repeat. Ask me that again. Let me see how that absorbs.
Earlier you were talking about the guy that you worked for.
Yeah.
So doing that really opened your eyes.
Yes.
And saying, hey, man, I could do this.
Yeah.
You learned the business a little bit. And then Mitch, how he really opened your eyes to marketing. Are there any other like really influential people that you met them and they had some information for you, or that relationship really took your life into another level, or in that taught you something that just completely changed everything about your life?
What if I told you I don't think there is that, or it hasn't happened yet? Would that be weird to say?
Not at all.
Because again, I can run down a list of, from Mike's to AJ's, like people who have been like very, positive and reinforcing to, to share into so many people that, that I could just go down a list of names of people who inspired me to push harder, that just from comments and conversations.
Yeah.
But nothing really has, besides, that has come and changed the trajectory of anything or inspired me to push it in this direction.
So how about this? Do you follow any influencers like, like Gary V, Tony Robbins?
Good answer. Good question.
Ed Milet. I love Ed Milet.
Interesting. And no, I don't necessarily follow. I know of them.
Okay.
I've heard things. I haven't necessarily dove in, and this is something new I'm trying to work on, is start doing that, because my son, Jordan, he's always referencing names of big people who are doing amazing things, and he always says, Dad, you need to start this, or you need to start listening to this, Goggins, or whatever.
Goggins,
Tate. He's always
one.
like Tate. Not in a, obviously there's a side of Tate that's a negative side, but but it's funny. He's always and then my daughter, she's always showing me stuff with health and fitness and people who are inspiring and doing stuff like that and that's the direction she's going and stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna work on that.
right.
And I mean that. Like, I'm gonna add that, because when you just said that like that, and you just, well, damn, that kind of inspired me to my phone was ringing, to be better.
Yeah.
And to be able to have an intellectual conversation with somebody saying, do you know of this person? And again, I've heard of those guys. I've listened to them. I know who they are, but I haven't dove into, like.
Yeah, dude. For me, it's like, it's easy for your mind to race. It's easy to, lose focus. It's easy to lose confidence. I mean, in a lot of times, it's got to come from within. But if listening to these guys is just such a great little push. Like, one of the things from Gary Vee that I learn a lot about is with social media. He's big on giving value and teaching. So I think if you're looking to get into like learning a little more about TikTok and that kind of stuff, he's got really good info on the mindset of personal brand building.
Yes.
So that would be one person I would recommend that, I think you might dig his view on stuff.
And I do, but I haven't like dove into it, but yes.
And then Ed Milet. The Power of One More is a book that he just wrote. I'm going to say about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. So that's another guy, and he's big on mindset, the power of your mind, the power of knowing that you can go just one more in everything that you do. So those are two guys. I mean, I'm just going to give you a recommendation to the guys that, I listen to a lot of them, but those will be too good to start. And I'd love to kind of chat with you about it down the road, you know, and like see what you think.
I can't wait I was just thinking that, like, don't just say it, like really do it, and then have this conversation later.
Oh yeah.
And things and have that conversation back and forth. And again, I don't know why I don't know why my brain doesn't say absorb what information I know of them. And I'm, and again, I mean, a great one, Tony Robbins. I've listened to him a million times. Those are great things.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't think I started going, Tony Robbins made me walk the walk now. Like, I'm ready. Let's go. Like, I don't think that's happened.
Yeah.
But, and it's weird because even with a following of 700,000 on TikTok, I didn't do anything with that.
That's why I'm surprised. Like, you're so inspired. You're so motivated. You're so, you know what I mean? You have a lot of these things.
Crazy.
You already got the stuff.
Everybody says it.
You know what I mean?
And I just don't
And
utilize
some people need, like for me, sometimes I'm like, I'll get in a little funk. I'm like, dude, I just need to dive into this positivity. I need to dive into it. And it brings me back to, my discipline and my, something. I need that sometimes, and it seems like you guys, that's probably why you don't even, it's super cool, man.
And I think, because some people, when I say there was a video, I got 14 million views. People said that would have been life-changing. You could have utilized that to all these potentials of things to make money and all. I didn't do anything except for just say thank you for watching, but I just kept doing, and I got a lot of orders from it and stuff, but I just kept moving on. I didn't go, here's my avenue, and I don't know, it's a weird thing. I'm an artist. I don't know if it's something, it's just, but why I've been manifesting and why I'm here.
Yes.
Because now is the time. Look at yourself, tell yourself you are doing these things.
You look good in this camera, by the way.
Well, good, because I feel so. But that's a great thing.
Yes.
But to look at myself and say, in this moment of me on camera, taking the moment to embrace this is actually happening, and this is all part of getting to know what you said about Gary Vee, and who was the other guy?
Ed Milet.
Like, I'm going to start doing that and absorbing those things and start to be more. To me, I would say it would be more of a confident, manly trait to be like that.
Yeah.
Less childish, and not that I'm childish. I know I'm not.
Stay playful. Stay playful.
Yeah.
That's something that you should never lose.
But I think there's things that make men stand out intellectually, business savvy, confident, sophisticated, all those things, and even just by you saying those guys, that tells me I can be a better man and keep working on things to better myself with knowledge and experience and all those type of things, man.
We all can. Yeah, I'm excited to chat with you about the way these guys see things. And I mean, it's deep. I mean, there's a lot of science, there's a lot of science behind this stuff that before people looked at it like just raw, this and that. But now people are digging into the way the mind really works. And it's amazing. It's just intense. Like meditation. Are you into meditation at all yet?
I've been getting better at it because
How
my
cool is
daughter
that?
does it every day, and she
Yeah,
always
dude.
says, "Dad, you got to do it. You got to do it. You got
Yeah.
to do it." I haven't necessarily been meditating, but what I've been doing that's been working, and it's the craziest thing, and it's working. I had to do it this morning. I was going through this phase where that voice in my head was telling me negative thoughts about myself, about my situations, and I wasn't doing anything about it. This weird thing just happened to me a couple weeks ago, and it's amazing. I can say a couple weeks ago because in just this couple weeks, this thing has changed. I've been telling, when that voice quietly in your head, you wake up in the morning,
Mhm.
oh, this sucks, and blah 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 blah, all those things. I've been stopping that by talking to myself out loud, which is weird because you see people talking to themselves and you go, man, that person's weird. He's over there talking to himself. I've been talking to myself out loud and telling myself, no, stop. You don't need to listen to him.
Yes.
I swear to God and on my kids, that voice that silently is talking to me is not talking to me. And this morning it almost did. I was in the bathroom brushing my teeth, and all of a sudden something was, oh, nothing worked. And I went, nope. You got things working out. Look what you're about to go do right now.
Yes.
These things are. And that voice didn't talk to me again the rest of the time, all the way here. No, I swear.
No, yeah, you have a voice that kind
no.
of talks to you. You have to realize that if you
I
hear,
swear that
if it's
happened.
talking to you, sometimes it's not you. And then by talking, this is you.
Yep.
And you can talk that voice that's talking to you out. It's
Literally.
that's that fear, that's that negativity, that's that anxiety. A lot of times and I forget who I was watching, and this helps a lot. Anytime you're starting to hear that, you need to tell him, you need to get in the seat, put a seatbelt on because I'm driving. I'm
Yeah.
driving. And you say it. You
Yeah.
say it out loud.
Yeah.
Get over there. Get out the car. Just you get out of my way. I'm the one driving, and sometimes you got to say it. So that's cool because I just was watching somebody that taught that whole thing, and that's super cool.
And
man.
it's real, and it's real, and it's
Yes.
new again because what's been
Yeah.
my word? Consistency.
Yeah.
I haven't been consistent in this yet. This is all just happening before, and I'm just like everybody else. I got a lot of shit happening. I don't know if I can cuss or
God,
free cuss here.
me
You know,
too, bro.
like us all, from relationships to kids and health, all those type
Yeah.
of things, and business. And I'm trying to afford the rent for this plaza now. That when I
Yes.
first moved in was $400 a month. Now it's over $2,000 a month just to rent this shop right here over here in this plaza. And I've been there so long, and it's been great, and so many people. But you know what I mean? It's like all
Yeah.
those types. So, but I'm gonna stay consistent with talking to myself. I'm gonna stay consistent with trying to better myself, whatever
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try to stay consistent with getting more comfortable with. I mean, I went to Vegas and did this on TV. I got to go present a piece of art to Dwayne Wade's family. Got to be in front of camera.
Yes.
So, this is my first ever podcast with Al,
Yeah.
Beltran's podcast, and this is amazing, and I want to remember this forever. But those two opportunities happened where I got to be in front of the camera and
Yes.
be a part of that. But why not? As a
That's
kid,
it.
I think I always wanted to be like on TV and an
There
actor.
you
Anyway, whether
go.
I had a face for TV, obviously not. So
No, you're good. You're good on it. Keep on going. I love this.
But that point was like I always dreamed of that, and I don't think I tried to ever really facilitate it.
Yeah.
But like, why not now? Like,
Yes.
and not necessarily be on TV, but why not be a part of all it? I don't know what it was, man. I saw Mitch on the camera when he did that with you, and the way it
Yeah.
was all set up, and my something inside of me went, that's what I want to be doing and be a part of that. And I messaged
That's
you and
it,
contacted
dude.
you, and we
And
talked
you were,
about doing
and it's funny. I made my list of the people that I wanted on here. You were already on it. Like,
That's awesome.
it was already like this what this is about, and let's leave it on that note, like why not now? Why not, dude? You just got to jump. If you had some words for 17-year-old you right now, what would you tell them?
Just like I tell my kids, stay consistent, but you gotta stay in a spot in your frame of mind to believe in yourself.
Yes.
Would you say like half of America doesn't believe in themselves? What would you
More.
think? Would you think more than half the people?
More,
You
I
would think
think.
that more than half of the
Why?
people
So-
in this world don't believe in themselves. Good question.
Think about how many people hate their life.
Probably more than half the world, right? Yeah.
How many people
Half
do you
the-
know? Oh, I got 10 more minutes. Can't wait to clock out. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many people do you know live that life? And luckily, I think we're doing the right thing and surrounding ourselves around not that kind of person, you know?
Yes, yes.
But think about it. It's rampant, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's why they're there. They hate it because they don't think they can do more.
Yeah.
They don't think they could do better. They don't love themselves or believe in themselves enough to make that jump, you know, to not hate your life.
That is amazing. That's really,
it's kind of
yeah.
edgy, not
Yeah.
not probably very popular.
Yeah,
Opinion
that could
on
start
some
to go
people.
a little far.
Some
probably,
people
but-
can get, but at the end of the day, man, like it's your life, dude.
Yeah, there's nobody saving you, and that's a real thing.
You
And
know,
like even with my
like-
kids, you know, I even kind of apologized to them. I said, you know, I'm inundated with what I've got going on and trying to survive in my life. I know you weren't put, you know, you didn't put yourself on this earth, and you're out there fighting for yourselves. But
Yeah,
it is your life,
your
and
life,
you have to
man.
go fight for it. And my son just got a job at Amazon, and now, and you know, my daughter's in college, and she's doing her thing, and she wants to be on social media platforms with her fitness and stuff like
Yeah.
that. She's going to college for communications, but
yeah,
it's your life, and I can try to be there as much as I can, but I'm fighting for my life too.
Yeah.
And it's a shame some families, and that's a very good point we just talked about. I said some families, yes, moms and dads can be there to support their kids and help them in their lives. But I said, just like that whole 50-50 thing and how many people hate, I said, but I bet you more than half of this country isn't able to help support their kids through their dreams and their goals and stuff. I bet you they're not. There are people who do, and those are the people maybe that do go on to be successful.
yeah.
But
and as a child, you know, it's you can't predicate your future on what wasn't given to you. You know what I mean? It goes down to it's your life.
yep,
You know, and man, it's like I say, it's kind of unpopular opinion with some people, but I'm a big believer.
we could go
man.
in. Yeah, there's a lot
I'm
of
a big
different.
believer, but I say we leave it on that. That was powerful, man. That was we dug deep on that, and like I said, there's gonna be some people that's just like, well, how about the people that this happened, guys? At the end of the day, it's our life, man, and having you here has inspired me.
Yeah, and you
so
inspired
much,
me too, man. That's
this
crazy.
was intense, man. I
Yeah.
really, really appreciate you having here, guys. Pete Koza Metal Art. Dude, thank you so much for being here,
Yeah.
man. Dude.
I appreciate everything.
Thank you
super
so much,
It
man. We'll
was-
have you back
yeah,
very soon,
yeah,
dude.
thank you guys.
All right.
Yeah, bye.